President-elect Donald Trump winning the most popular vote by a Republican candidate ever, and Bernie Sanders says Democrats have nobody to blame but themselves.
The working class of this country is angry, and they have a reason to be angry. We are living in an economy today, Donna, where the people on top are doing phenomenally well, while 60% of our people are living paycheck to paycheck. And what Donald Trump did is provided an explanation. He went around, he said, I know you're angry.
People were angry. Meanwhile, after raising $50 million for Democrats, our next guest stepped away from the Democratic Party after she says it turned its back on her and her family. And Evan Barker joins us right now from San Francisco. Evan, good morning to you.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing okay. What a story. You're a lifelong Democrat. Everybody in your family, Democrats. You raised $50 million for Democrat candidates, and yet you voted for Donald Trump. You're in San Francisco. What's the reaction from your friends? Hey, we thought we knew her. She voted for Trump.
I think I need to go into hiding.
You're not kidding.
You know, it's actually been quite brutal. I've had friends that I've known for over a decade in the last couple of days that have completely turned their back on me and want nothing to do with me anymore. So it's been a hard few days, yet still I do not regret my decision, and I don't regret my decision to go public with this information either. Indeed, and you wrote an article for the Free Press, and in the article, for folks who have not read it, Evan, you said essentially you raised the middle finger to your own party because they lost. Yeah. They lost what they used to stand for something, and now they don't. Explain. Yeah, absolutely. So I originally come from the Kansas City, Missouri area, just like you, as we just discussed. And many people in my family are union members who used to vote Democrat and in the last 8 or so years have slowly gone redder and redder. And at first I didn't understand why, but especially now after working in Democratic politics as a fundraiser, living out here, I've noticed that there is a cultural attitude and cultural resentment that many people on the left have towards people in the middle of the country, towards Trump supporters in general. I think we saw that very clearly in the final few days of the election when Joe Biden came out on television and called the majority of the country garbage. Right. So, there's been a lot of things that have led to this. And I think especially in this election, Kamala Harris did not really ever articulate her vision for America's economic future. She didn't really address the pain that people were feeling. Instead, she had television show appearances with Oprah Winfrey and the women on The View. Who just, they just don't get it. They don't get the pain that people are feeling. Meanwhile, while Donald Trump was out there talking directly to people every single day, he ran on a platform of economic populism, things that would really benefit the working class and people that I know back home, like no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, tariffs, which help protect jobs. Right. Here in the United States. And Evan, one other thing I wanted just to touch on, because it's Veterans Day. Your stepbrother served in the Navy and sadly was killed when there was a ship collision. You did not hear from the Democrat president of the United States. You didn't hear from your family didn't hear from any Democrats. Your family heard from Pat Roberts, the Republican senator from the great state of Kansas. He's the one who sat with your family and talked about your stepbrother for an hour about his life. And John McCain called your family. You didn't hear anything from the Democrats. No, and we were also invited to the White House Christmas party when Donald Trump was in office. Or sorry, not Christmas party, the White House Halloween party when Donald Trump was in office in 2017. Ironically, my brother was a janitor in Barack Obama's state office when he was a state senator in Illinois. And he ended up joining the Navy in 2008 after he worked as a janitor. And I actually reached out to the Obama Foundation during that time and through my contacts in Democratic politics, trying to reach him, hoping that he might remember my brother. Right. Perhaps he could send a letter to his two children. They were 6 and 8 at the time when he tragically passed away in a very preventable death. And I never heard anything from them. And I think that, you know, I know he's a busy guy and everything, but just in general during that time, I felt like I had a lot more empathy from people on the right than I did from people on the left. And that was a very confusing thing for me as a lifelong Democrat.
Well, and now you're going to change your official party registration to independent. Joining us from San Francisco today, Evan Barker. If you want to read her piece, it's in the Free Press, and it's terrific. Evan, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.